This happened years ago. I'm at Walmart and a lady asks for help with a heavy item. I talked to her for a while then continued to do my shopping. I went through checkout and the lady was talking to the manager. By the register she pointed at me and the manager smiled. I walked up to them as the manager explained that he works at Wendy's. The lady was slightly embarrassed, but we walked out together. I loaded the stuff into the back seat and talked to her husband that was waiting for her. She kept saying, you know, just like my great grandmother. The next day my manager asked it. I was the one that helped the lady at Walmart. There are a few of us with the same name. So I do a little nice thing and this lady goes out of her way to tell my manager about it, and I remember it for the rest of my life. I had to return an overpriced textbook, and because my mailbox is too small to ship it out, I had to go to the local post office. I'm lucky that I somewhat know how to send label and send physical mail, but I'm nowhere near good. I was in the middle of sending the package off when a woman asked me how to do something with the mail. I responded, I don't know how that works, I can't help you. She got irrationally mad over the fact that a teenager didn't really know how to mail really specific things. I was cool with it. It happens with old people, they enjoy ranting about the youth these days. Then she said to her friend, also old, I can't believe they hired people this unqualified to work here, and she started saying some hateful things about the USPs. It did get political, and I started to politely defend the postal service. I mean, she was literally trashing the postal service while in the post office. She walked off to talk to the clerk about her employees talking back, and the clerk told her I don't work there, and that was that. It was so bizarre because I wasn't dressed like an employee or anything. I'm currently wondering if she just wanted to pick a fight and trash the USPs at the same time. Made no sense at all. Hey guys, the usual text about being on mobile here. Not sure if this fits here. I'm a medical secretary for specialist surgeons, and in one of our locations we have a small display with old school surgical equipment and some of the tools we use today, including some hardware. I had a patient walk into the clinic. This was a new patient who had not been seen by our surgeons before. He started looking at the display. While waiting for their appointment he calls me over and asks back, quote, is this what I will be having done? Is this what hardware will be used? He asks as he points to a random piece of hardware and equipment. I say back, quote, I'm not sure. I'm only a secretary, not a surgeon, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. He then says back, quote, well why not? Shouldn't you know what procedures doctor does? Me, back, quote, I do know what procedures are done, and I know what types of hardwares I need to order for the procedure, but I do not know how to do the procedure. What hardware is used exactly for what? That is a question for doctor. I say this in my best customer service voice. He then proceeds to grumble and then actually call up a friend to then dog about me in the waiting room. This same friend had been a patient of ours as well. In the end the patient didn't even end up having any surgery. Long story short, patient gets annoyed with me because I can't answer questions that only a surgeon can answer. So, I'm seeing a lot of depressing stories of Karens yelling at people because they think they are high and mighty, so I thought I would share a story on the funnier side. It's very short, but it gave me a good laugh. So we were in a shop called Redacted, just getting some groceries, when my mum, millimeters for short, wants to know if some chicken burgers she found could be frozen. So she went up to this guy, we'll call him, now just so nobody thinks my mum is an absolute knob for mistaking someone for an employee. This man was wearing full black clothes with a name tag and a box in his left hand. By the shelves, putting something back, so millimeters goes up to him and this is the full convo. Millimeters, excuse me, do you know if these chicken burgers are freezable? G responds with sorry, got no clue, I don't work here, sorry. Millimeters asterisk WITH a laugh, oh sorry, I thought you worked here because now you had a name plaque and holding a box next to the shelves, I thought you worked her. G asterisk LAUGHING as WELL asterisk it's fine. Haven't long gotten off work. Anyway, gotta go. Stay safe. And he leaves like that. I thought this sub needs a wholesome story every once in a while, so just to take your mind off of all the negative posts, have this one. Stay safe all. TLDR. Woman demands to know where candles are, screams at me, then proceeds to shoplift $100s worth of product. Before all this covered mess I frequented a certain craft store that rhymes with pickles. Well, one day I walked in the door all haggard, intending to buy paint for an art project. When I paint I can't sleep. This real tall lady walked up to me and demanded to know where the candles were in this awful store. Me, points to candles right by the door, where we are standing up. Those. Karen, huffs no, you idiot, I'm not blind. Pillar candles. Me, points to an aisle. I think that aisle has candles. Karen, aren't you going to show me? All you employees are so rude. Me, what, ma'am, I just walked in the door. I do not work here. Motions to homeless appearance. She proceeded to scream at me and make a scene. The manager, who I knew very well, ended up confirming that I did not in fact work there. She got mad and walked off to the candles in a huff. Everything seemed done, and so I walked off to buy paints. I took my browse the silly seasonal ceramics and headed to check out. Well, as I walked to the front, this lady and an accomplice full on book it out of the store with full ass carts of candles and expensive cricket vinyl. Employees chased them out the door screaming for them to stop, but they kept running and took the carts to the police. Were called but never showed up. I informed the manager that was the same lady that was screaming at me the next time I came in the store. He informed me that when the lady stopped me, her accomplice was waiting around a corner to run out the automatic doors. All she needed was for me to show her the candles, I guess. This isn't a special instance, but found this sub and thought I'd share how out of tune people are to assume people work somewhere without them asking. I live in a large tourist town in the USA. When I go shopping I look like a homeless girl. I always wear sweats and sometimes I don't even comb my hair. Lol, my favorite outfit is a hoodie or oversized shirt with no bra plus basketball shorts. I also wear ducking slip-on Skechers or flip-flops. I also rarely carry a purse, so I wear my car and house keys on a lanyard around my neck. I kid you not, every time I visit the biggest mall in town and go to Forever 21 or the Masses / Nordstrom, someone always asks my bummy looking self if I work there. They get mad if they say excuse me and I don't turn around or respond. In one instance a man said at F21 said, "Oh sorry, I saw the lanyard and thought you worked here." My lanyard is literally a Boeing lanyard that says Boeing all around it. I've also gone into Target not wearing red and still get mistaken for a worker. Anyways, sometimes it's an honest mistake, but all these stories have a recurring theme, and it's that people don't even ask if you work somewhere, they just expect them to help you. I used to work at a store. One day I was the shift manager. I was unpacking some things when suddenly a woman, let's call her Karen, red of fury, says that he went to talk to the manager. I told her I was the manager and she says, "Karen, this is unacceptable. Your employees refused to help her and all of them pretended not to work here. I want them to get fired." I was surprised, so I decide watch the cameras, and I can't believe it. This Karen asked everyone except the real employee when I go and told her she refused to accept. She made the same mistake a lot of times. I told that the employees had a uniform and that the people she asked don't. She says that she was going to sue the store. She just go, the sue never happened. Sorry, not so long. Has some other stories. I went to a big office supply store with a red logo to scan a few documents. I'm out of town but these needed to be sent today. An older woman approached me with a cart opposite the machine and declared that she needed help with a box of paper that was too heavy for her to lift. A barrage of smart ass replies went through my head, but I felt bad and simply said, I don't work here." She only said oops and riddled off to find someone to help her. I'm wearing a navy blue graphic tee with a bright pink purse crossbody and sunglasses on my head. I sassed her the whole way home. So recently my area had a really bad storm, so there is tons of damage everywhere. Of course power is out pretty much everywhere around me. Anyways, I work a grocery store and my responsibilities include bagging, cleaning, and doing carts. Bring them back into the store from the returns. So this happened today. I was bring carts in when I heard the cry of a Karen. "Excuse me." She came from behind. She didn't look like the typical Karen but she did have the voice. She was maybe mid-50s, early 60s. Note: I'm wearing black paints, dress, red polo shirt with my store name tag and a reflective vest. We have to wear them for safety. Note also that on the back of the vest it says our store name. Anyway, she says excuse me, and I turn around and say with my customer service voice, "Hi, how can I help you?" Karen goes rudely, "Do you know when my power will be back on? I haven't had it for 6 days now." I just lol and was like, "IDK, I'm wondering the same." Karen: "Well, you're a utility worker, aren't you?" I said, "No, I just work here at the store name, and my job right now is to bring carts inside." She then goes off because I guess that wasn't what she wanted to hear. "Well, why are you wearing a vest?" I'm getting annoyed but still clam. "Oh, our store has us wear them as a safety precaution," and I points to back of my vest to company name. Then that's where she cuts me off and basically screams that she's hot at her house and doesn't have power and that I'm lying or something along those lines. IDK. So our store wants customers to be happy, so I did what I can to clam her down. I luckily know a person that works for power company, so I have a phone hash. She is like, "Fine," and writes down the number I gave her. Then that's it. She storms off, but not without the other classic line, "I'm going to tell your boss about this." I still haven't heard anything, so I guess I'm good. But why are people so stupid? SMH. Thank you for reading, hope you enjoyed. So, bit of a background, this didn't happen now. It was sometime back in January. When all was good, I discovered this sub now, so thought I'd share. I have a friend who used to work for a company that organized functions in public places, parks, halls and hotels. He was just starting out, and he got assigned to the worst and most boring duty ever, parking assistant. The parking spots were assigned to people who had registered for the event, and you had to park your car in the spot assigned to you. So this guy, he's going crazy because the people are piling in very fast, and there are only 2 of them on duty to cover parking 500 cars. I'm just standing by because he told me not to help. I need the job, bruh, don't help. What if the manager sees you and then he needs to go to the job? So I cover for him. I start directing the people, and I notice that I'm pretty good at it. I used a combination of hand signals and clear directions, whereas my friend just got upset and started pointing and swearing. So my friend vanishes after his John break and never returns. I'm pretty pissed off because I can't go away, or the only remaining assistant won't be able to handle the parking. I stayed on for about 2 hours, and the boss man comes around to check up on us. We've just finished directing all the cars, and he's impressed. So he asks me what rates I was taken on, as I told him that he'd said $25 per hour for work. My friend had told me this. He gives me the money with $5 extra for good work, then he leaves. Nice, right? So I grab the cash, go home and play some FIFA. Then I call my friend, and turns out he had to go to the doctor for something just after he finished his break. TLDR, I get paid $55 for 2 hours of my time, and I didn't even work there, just covering for my friend. This happened 10 plus years ago. I worked at Kroger in high school. For those that don't know, it's the chain of grocery stores. Our uniform then was black pants and a red polo with black collar. Since I didn't have a license or car, my mom picked me up. She wanted to go to Costco, which was across the street. We go in, and in the refrigerated section, a woman sees my uniform and name tag and asks me where something is. This woman looks like the entitled housewife and has her crotch goblins hanging all over her. If you have ever been to Costco, you know the employees were street clothes, not a uniform. I tell her I don't work here. However, she is too busy looking at the next thing on her list and dealing with the crotch goblins to hear me. I find this rude. Don't ask me a question and then not pay attention to whatever the answer is. I repeat myself and she says, "You don't work here, huh?" I once again told this woman that I do not work at Costco. She then hurried away. Not a super compelling story, but I learned about wearing any sort of uniform in a store you don't work at. Just don't do it. I've read some stories from this sub and I noticed something: people never agree to press charges. I've read stories about people getting their hot coffee slapped out of their hands by an entitled Karen and still not press any charges. Why? So my family works at a restaurant/bar, and I got a uniform shirt for no reason, but who cares? So I stay with my parents until closing time. My parents were serving food and I was washing the tables, so I have something to do, and some lady said I want to refund me. UHH what? Huh, you heard me. What do you want me to do? Huh, give me a refund me. Sorry, I don't work here. Yes you do. I go get the owner and I went back to washing the tables. For a bit of context, I, 19 meters, was at my partner's, 19F, work and looking through a catalog. I'm a heavy diesel apprentice, and she works for an automotive parts store. We live in New Zealand, where COVID isn't bad. Anyway, as I was looking through the catalog for new tools I need, behind the trade counter, and in what is completely different to their uniform bush shirt and sweatpants, a man with a thick Irish accent comes up to the counter looking at me. I look up after a few minutes, and see that he is not 20 centimeters away from my face, and he looks pissed. Instantly he starts demanding where the petrol is, and I politely point out that I don't work here, but might be able to point him toward the right place. Again all he says is petrol, and I take a stab in the dark and ask jerry can. He instantly yells no and demands what sounded to me through a very thick accent petrol paint, so I point toward the paint area. Again he yells no. I should also point out that I'm partially deaf in one ear. Workplace accident. He starts yelling again, and I can finally figure out he's saying petrol piping. And at this point my partner comes over to help and brings out the petrol piping from out back. Surprise surprise, it's not good enough, and he leaves in a huff. Thanks for reading. Edit. This took place on a Sunday, when the trade counter is on a closed off part of the shop.